Hi, my name is Marquita, and today we're going to be talking about food combination and the proper ways to combine foods the way they should be eaten so that we have a good digestive system. On the page below, you will see there's an article about this that is a little more scientific. This is more of a breakdown of the different foods and the way they should be eaten and combined. I do have a chart here that I'm going to refer to, but I'm not going to make that the focus. It's more going to be the words of the research that I found. The chart over here explains pretty much that you can only combine foods where the black lines touch. So your acid fruits, your subacid fruits, and your sweet and dried fruits, only where you see touching is where there should be combination. You'll notice that some of them are out by themselves, like your liquids and your melons, and I'll explain this in detail here pretty soon. And then your larger chart over here to my immediate right is going to be talking about your non-starchy vegetables, which these are your high water content foods, your complex carbs and starchy vegetables, your cultured or fermented foods, which is also known as your probiotics. It's not a pill, you can find it in other forms, as well as your fats and your sugars. And one thing you'll notice on my chart is there is a little blank space that I blocked out. And the only reason I did that is because it's something that's not the primary focus. It's not something that comes from the earth, so it's not something I really need to talk about. Back to the proper combinations of foods. The proper combination of foods promotes good digestion. It stimulates the metabolism and detoxifies the body. Now, unlike diet foods, combining does not weaken the body. It actually increases your immune system and gives you a positive energy level, as well as some people say it's a positive result, but you'll get weight loss. That's not the main focus or the intention. The main intention is that you're eating properly and have proper digestion. And so food combining is pretty easy to handle. You just need to follow some of my simple steps, and then you'll be able to eat successfully. Again, our focus here is to discuss foods that are derived from the earth. And as, again, like the chart displayed earlier, only where the black lines touch. First and foremost, this is very important to everybody out there, chew your food. It's very important that you actually grind your food, chew it, where you're not swallowing and eating whole pieces of food, because you're also helping aid when the food goes down your digestive tract before it hits your stomach, where your stomach is not having to do an overhaul of work, because you've already pretty much helped the food by grinding it up. With that being said, we're going to talk first about fruits. And I do apologize about looking up and down. Most of the information here is all research-based, so I don't want to get off topic too much, and I want you to hear exactly what I did do research on. Acid fruit is one of the first categories in fruits. These are fruits that contain at least a small amount of vitamin C. The acid fruits boost your immune system, and they help prevent and fight disease and infections. And it's best that you consume your acid fruits 30 to 60 minutes after a heavy meal, because it also can help speed up digestion. And likewise, any fruit that you eat, it should be eaten before meals or after meals, but not in between. Your examples of your acid fruits, of course, would be like oranges, lemon, limes, grapefruit, any like pomegranates. And one thing that you should know is that acid fruits do not combine well with sweet fruits. And if you notice any problems with digestion with your acid fruits, you should try them on your own. Again, at least half an hour before eating anything else. The next category, which is in between, is the subacid fruits. This category can be eaten with your acid fruits or with your sweet and dried fruits. But again, you cannot mix the acid and the sweet, and we'll get to that. Like the more acidic fruits, they are best digested, again, on their own. They can provide almost instant energy. That way, the fruit sugars can be quickly absorbed, and they say it's best to eat them on an empty stomach. Now, some of the fruits also provide some of our best dessert experiences, but again, beware of eating too much fruit on an already full stomach. Your subacid fruits usually combine well with acid fruits again, or with sweet fruits, but not at the same time. This is because of the different enzyme production by the body during digestion. Your examples of your subacid fruits are some apples, pears, mangoes, plums, strawberries, and peaches, and sometimes some of your little berries. Now, your sweet and dried fruits are, as the name implies, they're pretty sweet to the taste. Some of these fruits, there is also a danger of concentrated sugars in them, so they can damage your tooth enamel if you eat too much of them, as well as if you eat them too often. And sweet fruits combine well with your subacid fruits, but not combined with your acid fruits. Again, if you notice that you feel sluggish or there's any discomfort after eating a combination of fruits, always try them on an empty stomach and or adhere to the food combining rules. Your examples of your sweet fruits, of course, are going to be like your grapes, the bananas, figs, dates, raisins, prunes. Any of those are considered sweet fruits. And then we have your melons, which are fruits, but the melons should be eaten by themselves. And this is why. Melons are very easy to digest. Due to their high liquid content, they're pretty much 90% water. So melons digest almost immediately. They require virtually no digestive action by the stomach, and they pass through the system very quickly. However, this can only happen if your stomach is empty. If you eat melons on an empty stomach, they will digest quickly, and vice versa. If you eat them on a full stomach, they will not. If it's eaten with other foods that require more complex digestive action in the stomach, it's going to take longer to pass, and they'll get stuck. And if they get stuck, that's when it gets trapped, and other foods cannot properly digest either, and that's when you'll get some of that bloat. So if you have a bloated stomach, it's because you're eating too many fruits combined together that shouldn't be eaten together, and your digestive tract cannot properly digest them, so they get stuck, and it takes a while for them to get out of the system, sometimes anywhere between 3 to 4 hours. And with liquids are in a category of their own. That's your water, your juice, your milk, depending on the milk you drink. I particularly drink almond milk or coconut milk. I don't drink any soy or any cow's milk. But regardless of that, your liquid should be drunk alone, especially in combination with either your fruits or your vegetables, which have been juiced. And so either way, you want to drink your liquids at least 10 to 15 minutes before eating to help cleanse the palate and prepare it for the food that's going to be coming in. Then on your larger scale, you have those non-starchy vegetables. By non-starchy, that just means the vegetables are high in water content, and these vegetables are full of vitamins, minerals, fiber, and phytochemicals, which means, of course, they're mainly going to be the ones that are green. And again, they should only be combined with foods, as the chart displayed, where the lines touch. The only exception to that rule is if you're putting them into a fruit juice, like you're blending them or you're juicing them, having fruits and vegetables together. It's okay, but again, you want to have that by itself 10 to 15 minutes before you eat anything else, sometimes 30 minutes. But you have to know your body in the sense that when you eat the foods and you start going through this path of proper digestion and food combination, you'll start to understand what you can and cannot eat together. So your examples of some of your non-starchy vegetables are your artichoke, your asparagus, green beans, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, eggplants, all type of greens, your collards, your kale, your mustard and turnip, leeks, mushrooms, okra, and the list can go on and on and on. Just do your research and you'll find more of them. When we talk about cultured and fermented foods, this is like those commercials you see that say probiotics, take this pill for proper digestion. You actually don't need any pills. There's foods out there that are already probiotics on their own, and they're considered to be the beneficial bacteria. And unlike the pills that they push on these commercials, again, these good bacteria are found in food. They're rich in enzymes, which improve digestion, and they reduce the need for our bodies to produce its own enzymes, which in turn promotes healthy and increased energy. They protect the nutrient content of food, and in many cases, increase availability of nutrients, and they help promote regular elimination, aka going number 2, or whatever you want to call going number 2. Examples of this are sauerkraut, kimchi, pickled vegetables. There's a Japanese miso paste, or there's something I researched, it's called kombucha, and it's a tea. It's fermented, and if you want to look it up on your own, it's spelled Kombucha, kombucha. Next we have your complex carbs and your starchy vegetables, and these are the fuel for exercise. They help our organs function properly, and they also provide vitamins and minerals. And your examples of your complex carbs are any of your legumes, like your beans, garbanzo, black eyed peas, red beans, rice, and any other grains. Then you have starchy vegetables like parsnips, plantains, potatoes, pumpkins, squash, and corn. We also have fats and some sugars. I found a lot of conflicting information on fats. So I'm going to give that up to people if you want to do your own research about how fat combination with your vegetables, with your fruits, because everybody had different things to say. But from my own experience, from some of the fats that they said, I haven't had much digestive problems. So you're just going to have to experiment yourself, find out what works for you. Some of their examples they use of like their good fats happens to be avocados, extra virgin olive oil, any of your coconut oils, things like that. But I make a lot of salads. I'll mix them together. I'll have avocado with my lettuce, and then I'll have like oil on it. Then I'll have apple cider vinegar, and nothing happens to me. But again, to each his own. So do some practice, do some exercises on what you can and can't eat, and you'll figure it out. Then sugars as well. On the charts, they were referring to like your processed sugars, your white sugars, your sugars that come out of the big old 5-10 pound bags at H-E-B's and your Walmarts, your Walgreens, your Kroger's, wherever it's all in the tin. But for me, I know that anything processed is not good for the body. So I would recommend, if you want to eat sugar, you eat sweet fruits, because sweet fruit in itself is a sugar. Or if you have to, try eating like raw sugar or organic sugar. Try your best to stay away from things that are processed foods. And we're pretty much now coming to the close, but I do understand if you do have any further questions about food combinations or proper food digestion, go ahead and send us a message. We'll be more than happy to hit you back up and let you know what we find. And I'll let you know now that, of course, I'm not citing anybody. That's only because there's too much information out there. There's too many resources for me to specifically say every single person's name that I'm using here today. But that doesn't mean that I'm doing any plagiarizing. Just letting you know that our goal here is not to plagiarize, but to emphasize the mass consciousness of eating foods that come from the earth. And again, you're more than welcome to do research on your own and add any information as you please. Thanks for listening. Bye.